How can we foster resilience in business? I'm Kate Sage. The Inspired CEO starts now. Welcome to The Inspired CEO, where each episode we explore the innovative wellness practices that are driving success and longevity in the modern business world. In this episode, we dive into the empowering journey of Liza Pavlakos, founder and CEO of the Liza Pavlakos Foundation and the Mind Hub Directory. Now, Liza, you have an incredible journey of resilience and transformation, and I believe this is an Australian exclusive, the first scoop of your story.
Yes.
Are you willing to share with us today?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I feel very honoured. So take us through your journey. What have you been through and how have you survived this?
Thank you, Kate. My journey stems back from early childhood. I was a young child. At the age of 6 years old, I had suffered child sexual abuse by my uncle. At 14, I was raped by my first cousin. By the time I was 16, I fell into an intense depression, not understanding what really depression was or the effects of depression. I tried to speak to my family about what I was going through. Unfortunately, coming from the cultural background that I came from, and also parents who did not know how to handle the situation at that time.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting the support that I needed at home. So at 16 years old, I made the very bold move to run away from home.
God.
And I became homeless. So homelessness was a life in itself, navigating through that. And of course, when you're a vulnerable teenager on the streets of Melbourne, when you haven't been taught tools and skills of how to protect yourself because you've been a product of child abuse from the time that you can remember, you become a walking target. And so by the time I was 18, I was in a very violent relationship with my first boyfriend. I had the right-hand side of my face reconstructed. And by the time I was 19, when I had healed from the domestic violence, when I was walking home from school, I was kidnapped by a stranger and taken to a place that I did not recognize, was almost murdered. I was given my last rites before I was supposed to be killed. I survived, and it's a miraculous journey. I've got a novel coming out in October 2024 called Conviction. The man who kidnapped me, the case was heard in the Australian court system, but to me, I believe the case was quite corrupt. I think money and power, has the ability to sometimes change the shape of what a court case outcome should be like.
Yes. Because
the perpetrator, he had a QC representing him, and I had the police at the time and representing me, and unfortunately the court case didn't go to my favor. So to walk out of a Australian courthouse when you've been kidnapped and almost murdered, given your last rites, and been abused and tortured, to then walk out and then be told that your story, isn't true and it's a fabrication and all of that stuff, when that's not the fact, that was really heartbreaking. So in my lifetime, I had attempted suicide probably 9 times because of such immense depression, not feeling loved, not feeling heard, not feeling cared for. But I decided when I was 21, because I was pregnant as a single mum, to turn my life around. And regardless of how my child was conceived, and it was a pregnancy that I did not plan for and I didn't have any support. With that pregnancy, I thought, I'm going to change my life, and the only way I can is by changing the narrative of my story. And I am going to feed my child, and I am going to become a self-made entrepreneur. Of course, I didn't have an entrepreneurial background. I wasn't fully educated, but my first business that I started up was called Miss India International.
Yes.
And I had 4,000 people come to my first event for Miss India International.
Wow.
And it was the first time I sort of tasted, I guess, entrepreneurship, and taking control of my life. And so I did a couple of Miss India International shows, and then had an opportunity to take over a struggling cafe in Flinders Lane.
Yes.
Took that cafe and turned it all around, and then met my partner at the time, who was a master tailor, is a master tailor, and went into his business and expanded his business. So then, you know, we had 5 tailoring stores, and because I had negotiated my release through the abduction,
yes,
and that's how I was able to escape the abduction at the time, I found that I found a new skill set, and that was how to negotiate my way to get contracts. And so I did, negotiated to get the Australian Open contract, the Grand Prix. You know, we did all the uniforms for, you know, tailoring for the uniforms for the W Hotel.
Wow.
So many different events. Celebrity clients, you know, would come to see us, like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Crown Towers. You know, we had the contract with them. And even though the business was thriving, I wasn't thriving in my heart.
Yes.
Because I knew every time I turned on the TV and I heard about a child being kidnapped, or, you know, someone being abused in some way, shape or form, I understood that feeling. And so about a decade ago, I decided to make the very bold move of giving up my tailoring business, which was pulling in, you know, a very strong income at the time, to come out to become a keynote speaker so that I can educate and empower people on reshaping their story and changing the narrative of their story from victimhood to, you know, being a victor. So, and that I did. And I've been doing it for a decade, and I've been very blessed to be brand ambassador for, you know, some amazing brands.
Yes.
And also, you know, won the Golden Gavel Award, 8th speaker in suicide prevention globally, top 10 female speakers of the world. And all those accolades, I think it makes me feel so proud.
It's
because
so strong.
But it makes me feel proud because I'm here to do service.
Yes.
It's not about me. It's not the Liza show. It is these are the tools and skills that I've learned, and how can I inspire people, one person at a time, you know, to change their story the way I was able to.
And is that healing for you? Because obviously you've been through so much, and being able to help others is incredible, but actually making sure that you're doing the work and you're healing yourself, do you find that helps? Is that?
Very much so. In fact, writing my book took about a decade. We had about 5 rounds of edits, and I just was not ready to release it until we had really just shaped it to its final perfection. And the feedback on the book so far is like, I can't put it down. People can't put it down. And yes, it is very healing, because, you know, if someone is going to abuse me, beat me, rape me, kidnap me, almost take my life away, and you think that I'm going to be a victim of what you did to me, I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to say I'm going to thrive, and I'm going to help others thrive with me. And I think there's so much power in being able to change the narrative of your story. You see, I waited for the Australian court system to support me at that time.
Yes.
But unfortunately, that did not happen. I waited for certain family members to stand up for me at the time, and that did not happen. And that's not because, you know, when it comes to family, it's not because people don't love you, it's just people can only handle what they can handle.
Absolutely,
right?
And you've been through more than anybody else in your family, and without a doubt, being able to look back on that and now see how far you've come, and shaping your own journey, creating your own destiny, finding the courage to move forward.
Yeah.
And it is absolutely remarkable, Liza. You must be so proud.
I am proud for every person's life that we touch.
Yes.
And that makes me feel really good. And I think that now, you know, having this ability to travel the world, you know, from London to Africa to, you know, America, and just be able to share the story of inspiration, it's amazing. And especially now with the new business that I've created, Mind Hub Directory.
Yes, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think no one really understands what mental health can look like unless you've actually been through all sorts of different parts of the gravity of depression, the gravity of what it's like to have been raped, or, you know, have your face broken, you know, but also entrepreneurship and coaching and leadership.
Yeah. And without the education. So you did this without the formal decades of education that other people might have.
Yeah, I did it all without, you know. And I turned around and I thought, well, I love business. Find a need, fill a need. I knew that when I was younger and I was looking to work with a therapist, it was hard to find a therapist that I felt like I could connect with.
Yes.
You know, statistics say 1 in 4 people will suffer with mental health, where they will need mental health support. And so I thought, well, if I create a directory where we can onboard psychologists, clinical psychologists, somatic practitioners, counselors, life coaches, executive coaches, and so then the consumer can go there and through the filters search for what they're looking for.
And sometimes you don't know what you're looking for either, do you? And I think that's the wonderful thing about having the whole directory with not just one modality.
No.
You won't know what you need.
Exactly. And that's why we've got 2 sets of filters. You can search by what you've been through,
yes,
or you can search by the type of practitioner that you're looking for, and also language barriers, right? And so you go on there and then it comes up with all these different therapists, and with that then you can connect with the therapist, or you can take it to your GP to ask for a referral to see the therapist and get some healing work done.
Incredible. So what are the future goals of Liza Pavlakos as a business and also of MindHub Directory? Where do you see this going?
Well, I think I'd like to just keep speaking.
Great.
And just traveling and speaking and inspiring one person at a time. And I think with the directory, keep expanding. We've just opened up an office in Malaysia, we've got an office in America, and we're expanding in the Middle East. So making mental health accessible globally.
And coming from someone who has literally suffered what I would consider one of the worst possible things to have ever gone through, day after year, and you come out the other side of it, and remarkable journey, Liza. Thank you so much for coming on Ticker today.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you or someone you know is affected by domestic abuse, it is important to seek help. You are not alone. There are resources and support services available to assist you. This is Ticker. Take care.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.